Live from Wave in Louisville, Kentucky. This is Listens Live.
So as we bring you in here to our sets, I've got Jim Desmond here off to my side. Always good to see you.
Brian, good. Thanks for having me. I always appreciate it.
Let's talk. You and I were talking to the commercial break. Your vehicle is usually the second biggest asset that you have. So people have a lot of questions, especially if something's gone wrong.
Right. And that's the thing is that when you're in a car accident, everybody, you turn on the TV, what do we see? All these injury claims, including myself. And most attorneys won't handle a car accident claim. I don't want to handle one because, again, it's too much litigation for what the return can be, as well as the client's going to spend more than the car's worth. But that's why I said today, let's talk about what do they need to do to kind of get the car back on the road, get it fixed, or get it recovered, get it paid for more correctly by the insurance company.
Yeah, kind of to piggyback off what you were saying. So there's tons of commercials when it comes to you've been in a car accident, there's an injury claim, what do I do now? This is something you specialize in, you've been doing this work for years. But a lot of people, if you're in a wreck, maybe there's no injuries involved, but there's damage to your vehicle, so you think, okay, I see these commercials, I'm going to call an attorney, but most attorneys, that's not what you want to be dealing with, and so you don't know where to turn next.
Well, and the attorneys, unfortunately, when you call most attorneys, you get call centers or paralegals, okay? I will tell people they can call me directly, they can reach me on my cell phone. I'm not going to handle a property damage only claim, but I'll still take 10 minutes to give you advice on your car. I will tell you one of the first steps is if people have full coverage on their car, use it, okay? I know people say it's not my fault, I shouldn't have to do that. I say swallow your pride. It's the easiest way to do it, okay? The second step is if you're not at fault for the accident, then you've got to get the police report, and that gets into a lot of other issues where you're really waiting to get the police report because they tell you it can take 5 to 10 days, and once you get that police report, you've got to open up that claim just like you would anything else. And that's what people don't understand is to recover on a personal injury claim or a car accident claim, you got to show negligence. You got to show the other person was at fault. And that's, so in a typical injury claim, that's what I'm doing is I'm showing the other person was at fault to recover on my client's behalf. Well, if it's trying to recover for a 1990 Chevrolet, I'm still having to do that. So the insurance company is still looking at all those same issues about who was driving the car, were they properly insured, did they make their payments, is there coverage under the policy. Ironically, I'm in litigation in my own son's Camry on the same issue because there's coverage on the other driver. There's no issue on fault, but too many vehicles were damaged in this accident where they don't have enough money to go around and cover all just the vehicles.
Right.
So it's, this is where people are left, unfortunately, a little bit high and dry because they want to get their car back on the road if they use it for work and everything else, and it's not always that easy. So.
What do you do as far as, because I know with the injury claims this is important, I imagine same for damage, as far as documentation and photographing the scene and things like that you can do as somebody who maybe is the victim in this case, but to make it easier for you to do just what you said, get back on the road.
You hit it on the nose. First of all, take your cell phone out, take photographs of the vehicles, okay? Everybody doesn't want to move it till the police get there. I'm less worried about that. I'm more taking pictures of the vehicles in the positions they're in, and then if you move them, so be it. Get the witnesses' names. So many people come up and say, can I help you? Get those people's names and phone numbers, all right? That is so crucial. Look around, see is there video at the accident scene that you can come back and maybe get down the road. Pay attention to who has the right-of-way. I always hear people say, so-and-so hit me. That doesn't mean anything. 90% of the cases, whether it's car damage or injury, who has the right-of-way? That's what you want to know. And if the person admits fault at the scene, that should be, the police officer should not only be noting that, but God, I hate to be so crude, but if you really could have, if you got him on video right there.
Yeah.
Because what happens is afterwards people say, well, no, that's not what I said. No, that's not what I meant. And we have these issues all the time. I had one previous client the other day. I went to view his accident scene. I met with him after hours. We went to view the accident scene. I cringed to begin with because I heard he turned left. And I went to view the accident scene and I realized, no, he wasn't at fault at all. But it's how people describe it to begin with. That's kind of, there's so many biases in this issue that it's important to figure out, as you say, get all those facts, get all the names, get those independent witnesses right off the bat. And, I can go send an investigator out and, let her take a statement, a recorded statement, share that with the insurance company. That alone can save a whole process of not going into litigation.
Is there something, you talked a little about insurance a couple minutes ago, but is there anything, it depends of course on your budget, what type of vehicle, whether you have a car note or not, but is there something that we can be doing proactively as drivers on the insurance side, whether it's carry more insurance, make sure that we have full coverage, something that makes this whole deal easier if we can't afford it?
Yeah, I would say, okay, it depends on the car part, it depends on what you want to do, all right? One of my cars is still worth a pretty good penny, and it has the full coverage. The other one's worth less than $10,000, and you'd say it's self-insured because I don't have that full coverage. I have everything else, but not anything insuring the car itself. That's why I'm in litigation over that other Camry.
Right.
Maybe it may have been a mistake. Cost me $400 to file suit on it as it was. The car part, you have to decide, is the collision coverage worth it or not? The other part that I think is always worth it, whether you have a motorcycle, a car, I don't care what it is, uninsured and underinsured coverage. Okay. Because everybody says, oh, I got full coverage and it means I'm protected. No. Uninsured and underinsured coverage means that the guy has no insurance. We can go against your policy. They're going to act like they insure him up to whatever you purchased. Okay, for your injury claim. And remember, your injury claim is not just, like the commercials try to make it sound like the lottery ticket, pain and suffering. It's, past medical bills, it's co-pays, it's lost wages, it's all these damages. So we can go against your company and try to recover it that way rather than try to recover blood from a turnip from this guy who has no insurance. Or underinsured, he's got like the state minimum, but he sent you off with a missing left arm. We can collect his insurance and now go against your policy for more. And I tell people have at least $100,000 per person in both of those policies.
Good to know.
And go ahead.
I was just going to say, less than a minute left. One thing I wanted to make sure that we get in from you is, so we talked on the onset that most attorneys, you included, don't want to do just the damage claims. So you've always been a valuable resource to our community when it comes to this type of thing. Is that kind of why you wanted to do this and say, hey, I know that you have trouble as a person who's been in an accident finding this information, so I just want to be a resource?
Yeah, I mean, people need to be able to call people. I've been doing car wrecks for 20 years, and that's the whole part of the problem is there's so much bad misinformation out there, and I just cringe. So I want them to be able to call me and say, okay, even if I'm not going to do a personal injury claim, let me put you on track. It takes me 2.5, 3 minutes, to put somebody on track or share a resource or share a letter I've done before or a case law. A girl I met the other day that I've known from before, I sent her one of my standard letters so now she can argue her car is worth more.
Right.
Took me 5 minutes, okay? Is she grateful? Yes. Maybe she'll call me down the road. Who knows? We'll see, so.
Well, we're appreciative that you are a resource that we're able to use. We've got your contact information right here on the screen. Call you, get on the website, easiest ways to get in touch.
Cell phone is that number, that 609 number. I'm always going to answer it on nights and weekends.
All right, good deal. Well, it's always good to see you.
You too, Brian. Thank you. Again,
thanks for sharing the
always
info.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, be safe driving out there because it's fair this weekend. We know a lot of people coming into town from out of town. So
not kidding.
Yeah,
not kidding
we'll
there.
see what happens. Okay.